say ancestral spirits or perhaps a higher energy. And, so how did they use different things to communicate? We now know that there was definitely tools used, right? We were finding strange small items that were used for communication, and we will never know how they use them. We're guesstimating at best, right? We really are.
Yeah.
So, we look at these cave paintings and we look at these beautiful, pieces of art from the Australian people who, I look at them and I see so much communication to the beyond in their work, right? Those beautiful spirals and the it's almost like a code, it's like some kind of code that we will never know. We will never know. But what's going to happen when, let's say 25,000 years from now, if any of these items that we use now,
Exactly. Exactly.
We're going to survive. What would people think? What would they think we were doing with these objects? 25,000 years from now, we'll be lucky if we're still here at the rate we're going.
Yeah.
With global warming and all of that stuff too. But, you have to kind of look, if you really want to look at how these things function at a deeper sort of metaphysical level, we have to think of how people were thought or taught in that time period, right? So when we say 25,000 years ago, we know there was no organized religion of any kind. So all communication to the other world or to the heavens or to spirits or ancestors would have been done through small rituals using probably some types of objects. And I would suspect that while, maybe Neanderthal men, Denisovian, Homo sapien, we may have approached things slightly differently, although we're not that different. We interbred. So clearly, we were thinking fairly similarly at the time. I'm fascinated by that because, again, it's like I would love to know how they communicated beyond. And people might argue that they didn't. They didn't know anything about that. They were living in the moment. They were hunters and gatherers, and they were, and that whole idea of Neanderthal man being not intelligent and, kind of the, I throw rock, kind of mentality, we know is not true now, today, we know this. So when we move into periods of Christianity, where we get these ideas of angels and demons and, borrowed from other cultures as well, because there's many cultures that have that. But what makes us believe that we somehow have, using a board or using them, that we can connect to other worldly beings if they were that ethereal? That's kind of my my question of the day. It's like we can only communicate with what we know to be within
Right.
our realm.
Right.
So would I use an angel board to connect to angels? No, because first of all, I don't believe that they exist. Would I use a Ouija board to connect to a spirit? Possibly, depending on my purpose. What would you think? Like, what do you think about all of this sort of access to angels and all of this over, the last years? Like, are we kind of deluding ourselves? Do we?
As you say, it comes down to personal belief.
It does, yeah.
I am like you. I am not a believer in that particular realm.
No, I'm not Christian, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm not either. So I don't believe in demons or anything like that.
No, me neither.
As I say, using these boards, For me, of course, having had no luck, but aside, for me, it's just another paranormal tool
Right.
to be
Right.
able to use. It's another piece of equipment.
Yeah. And like all equipment, you should be equipped with the knowledge before you try to access it, right? And again, I don't tell people, don't use that, but it has to come with a warning. Like, I honestly believe that when you're marketing something in a way that's misleading, that I don't know, you just open yourself up to, I don't know. I mean, maybe I have too much of a conscience. I don't know. I couldn't honestly feel comfortable about marketing something like that to customers, to clients of mine, that I would feel comfortable in saying, yeah, go for it. It's completely innocuous. And when you do use it, you're going to get this archangel or this angel or this seraphim or this cherub or they're all going to come through, and they're going to wish you the best and help you out on your path. And I don't know, without being able to control that, I would be afraid to let people just unleash their,
Mhm.
that within. So, that was kind of our thing today. And just to touch on something, and Rachel's not here, so she can't really talk about it. But her and I were talking about some people that we know that have used angel boards and have had really quite, terrifying results from them. And this was how today's show came about, because they were believing that they were communicating with angels, and that, but when questioned about the contact that they were making, they couldn't really explain why they felt it was an angel. They were just like, well, the board is an angel board, so it's contacting the angels. And I have the questions of, if it is contacting angels, then you should be very, very specific in who you're contacting, right? It's like, just don't fire up the board and go, who's ever out there, come on down.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's
Exactly.
the same thing that we would say with a Ouija board, right? It's like, buyer beware, user use extreme caution. Don't buy into the marketing hype, right? That it doesn't necessarily do what it says on the package. They can't guarantee that. I think that's what bothers me the most about, and I won't say all the boards are marketed like this, but of the 10 that I looked up, about 8 of them came with this, don't worry, it's the board is protecting you, and read this prayer and envision this white light around you, and you will be protected when you use this, and only good angels and good things will come through. And then I started looking at, results, people's comments, videos that are out there of people's experiences having used these, and they've been anything but positive. So, again, at the end of the day, it really is just a buyer beware, be knowledgeable. And if you're not knowledgeable, then seek out somebody who is, that can assist you if you feel that you absolutely have to, go there. Right. And it's, again, just because you can.
Doesn't mean that you should. Yeah.
Good. Yes. That's sort of the theme of today's show. Talking about angel boards, just to sort of sum it up for people, they are a communication device that allows you the ability to communicate on the spiritual realm. So it's really a board with the alphabet, a planchette, which is a little arrow, or it can be anything as simple as an upturned cup, or
Earrings.
a domino, or anything that you use to move around the board. I mean, you could honestly make your own at home, right? There's nothing to say you have to buy anything that's manufactured.